Afternoon, good afternoon, my fellow Americans. How y'all doing on this good Saturday? What's going on? How you doing, Renee? How's everybody doing? It's a good day. It's a cloudy day. It's about to rain. It's 3:30, so it's about to rain here, Tallahassee. But it's going down. We got some things to talk about. We're gonna have a little fun today. We're gonna let our hair down a bit, have a little fun, but also, you know, have a real conversation, around strategies and things because we like to get caught up in emotions. We like to get caught up in personalities. We like to get caught up in charisma and celebrity and things, but we never get caught up in strategy. So, we focusing on strategy today. That's our overall thing. Focusing on strategy. Black people, what exactly are we doing? Do we really know? Terrell, what's going on, my brother? How you doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Jeff Metcalf went on his racist rant, so we're going to get into that a little bit, Jeff Metcalf out here calling people a watermelon felon. What is that all about? Of course, we're examining this because we got two main topics today. Jeff Metcalf's racist rants, as well as I found a debate that Stephen A. Smith was having between it was Brandon Tatum and Gary Chambers. Kiki, what's going on? How you doing? So Stephen A. Smith moderating a debate between Gary Chambers and Brandon Tatum. Gary Chambers supporting or defending Democratic stance and Brandon Tatum defending Republican stance. And that my overall thing is that sound like, I was listening to two black men have a debate over which party is failing us the most. And that's crazy. That's crazy. But those are the two main things that we're getting into. Jeff Metcalf, a lot of people are saying Jeff Metcalf has revealed who he really is. He went in. He was going in on everybody. He has had enough. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, that debate, man. The debate was interesting. Brandon Tatum being Brandon Tatum, I don't know how many brain cells he got, but he in a debate with Gary Chambers. So please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share, hit that hype button. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's how we continue to grow this channel. That's how we get more eyes on this channel. That's how we get this information out. That's how we can help enlighten more people, teach more people, and take this information back into your regular lives and be able to practically use it to make things better. So happy Saturday, my people. Happy Saturday. I hope y'all are doing well out there. Nemesis, what's going on, man? What's going on? Yeah, real life is definitely more valuable. So remember, if you are doing anything in your community, you're doing anything out of black business, whatever, put your information in the comment section so we can support each other. We're supposed to be supporting each other. So if you're doing something, hey, man, use that comment section to promote what you're doing so we can check you out and then we can be there to support you, right? We build a community, right? So, yeah, like I say, Jeff Metcalf, Stephen A. Smith, Brandon Tatum, Gary Chambers is going down on this Saturday. So hit that like button and everything there. If you want to support me, all the stuff is in the description. All the information to support is in the description, right? So today, once again, two stories that seem unrelated on the surface, but together they reveal a deeper problem in America and a deeper problem with black politics. And remember, our definition of politics over here is not just voting and dealing with government. Remember, our definition of politics as well is human interaction. How humans interact with each other on a daily basis. Why we interact with each other on a daily basis. So the first story we're examining, the latest comments from Jeff Metcalf following the conviction and sentencing of Carmelo Anthony. He got 35 years. Many people believe that his latest rant and his statements expose his racial attitudes that were hidden throughout the trial. Others say his comments have nothing to do with the case or even the facts of the case. The question is simple. If someone exposes racist beliefs after a trial is over, what does that actually mean? Can it help an appeal? Can it reduce a sentence? Or does it simply reveal information that Black people should pay attention to moving forward? How do you use that information? Gunny, what's going on? Gunny Red in the building. What's going on? I like that name. That's a good name. Gunny Red. I like that. After we talk about Jeff Metcalf, we're going to spend a good deal of this show on the debate between Gary Chambers and Brandon Tatum that is moderated by Stephen A. Smith. It was on Stephen A. Smith's show. So on the surface, this is a Democrat versus Republican argument, but I believe the real issue is much bigger. Too often, Black Americans argue about which party loves us more while ignoring the important question: which political strategy is producing power, wealth, security, institutions, and results, right? So today, I want us to think beyond emotions. As always, I want us to think beyond personalities, and I want us to think beyond party labels. At the end of the day, whether we're talking about a courtroom, a political party, a school board, or a city council, the same question will always, always, always remain. Who has the power? Who has the power? How did they get that power? And what are we, the us's and we's, us Black people, what are we doing to build power for ourselves? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into this thing. So, like I say, we're starting off with the Jeff Metcalf rant. And once again, I'm standing up front. We know Jeff Metcalf going to come with what he's saying. It's intended to be racially charged. It's intended to get you mad. Don't let your emotions, do not allow emotions to control you when listening to this. Trigger warning, of course. He said, and I heard the lawyer didn't even do any due diligence throughout it's a lot of things that has gone on with this trial that has railroaded Carmelo from his family, from decisions his family made to the legal decisions, like all of this. Like it was a mess. It was a mess. But listen to this.
Make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike yet? You know, because the gag order is lifted. Tiffany Billions, Wackadoo, McAdoo, whatever her last name is. I'm not going to throw insults at you because I'm not going to lower myself to your level. But you're despicable. Drew Anthony, Kayla, you're cowards. You wouldn't even show up for your son's sentencing or victim statement impact. You abandoned your kid. You left him there. I guess he's no more use to you because you can't get any more GoFundMe money or GoSendGo money. You are grifters. You should be ashamed of yourself. You raised that child. And I swear to God, CPS should come check on those other 3 that you still have. You never once admitted or took accountability. You tried to play victim. The real victim is the one who died, not the one who shoved a knife in his chest. I come to pray with you and show the world we can close the gap of this unbelievable racial divide. And what'd you do? You widen the gap even further. You hire a convicted baby-shaking felon who's only in it for the money, who gives you bad advice, kicks me out of a press conference. Oh, funny, I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, but I left when asked. I didn't stab anyone.
Secret Service Sam here with some hardcore.
So before I let it continue, you hear Jeff Metcalf, and he in his feelings. He mad. Now, as listening to this, you know, I'm thinking as I'm listening to it. The first time I listened to it. Every other time I listen to it, and even now, I'm thinking as I'm listening to it, because my overall question is, what is the purpose of this rant? What is the purpose? Because from my understanding, he went on a whole TikTok live and just went off on any and everybody who he felt has done him wrong. Now, Carmelo has been sentenced. He's been convicted, sentenced to 35 years. So pretty much in his eyes, or maybe not in his eyes, but even, you know, they got their victory, basically. The Metcalf family got their victory in court. So what is the overall reason behind this rant, behind him saying this? One of the first things is, okay, well, he's getting stuff off of his chest. Well, what's the reason? What's the reason to do this? Even if you're getting stuff off your chest, I mean, you got your courtroom victory. Carmelo ain't coming home no time soon. So that's my first thing, is to think of what is his why behind this rant. Cruz says, from what we all got to come, we all got to come together now to now, watermelon felon. Well, he's a white supremacist son. Oh, well, yeah, his tone. Well, that's one of the things too, because yes, you're right, Cruz control. His tone did change. In the beginning, it was, this is not about race, to full on rant. I don't care nothing about y'all Negroes, right? So is it more than, I think it's more than him just being mad, because I think they always move with strategy, and I could be dead wrong. And I admit that I could be dead wrong, but I think there's a lot more than just, I'm getting stuff off my chest with this rant. For me, I think it's intended to push buttons. It's intended to get reactions from black people. It's intended to get black folk riled up. That's me. Once again, I could be wrong. Nemesis says there's at least a part of him that wanted to get that off his chest. Can't underestimate how badly Europeans need to be able to speak their mind, especially when they get silenced. He was clearly saying some of this stuff from trial. Yeah, and I take that into account, that he's frustrated. He's like, all this stuff was happening. He's frustrated. But and like I said, I could be wrong, but I still think it's a bit deeper than him just being frustrated. It's a bit deeper than that. So let's continue. Like I say, that's just one of the thoughts that I had. So y'all tell me what y'all think, though.
Receipts on the Austin Metcalf Carmelo Anthony trial aftermath. Jeff Metcalf got on TikTok Live and showed you his completely racist side. For him to sit there and say this wasn't about race, and this video I'm about to show you gives you an idea into how these twins were raised and how we ended up here and how they were most likely talking to Carmelo. Look at what Jeff Metcalf had to say about slavery.
Even though they did wrong, you're going to support someone who does something against the law. You're encouraging and saying it's okay because he's a certain color. Oh, you've got more melanin than me. Ooh, so you get more privileges, more entitlement? Because 400 years ago, someone actually sold you to us, and we took you over here and put you to work. And then we had a civil war to free your ass. And now you want to talk shit? Oh, I'm being so oppressed. You couldn't even vote 1960. See? Look how far you've come. Look at all the free shit we give you. You're not oppressed. You're fucking entitled. You know what DEI stands for? Yeah. Means I don't have to be fucking qualified. I just have to be a certain color or race or gender. Whose broad ass idea was that? I don't know about you, but when I grew up, there was no participation trophy. There wasn't a safe space created for me because my feelings were hurt. We had to take actual responsibility for our own actions. Wow, what a concept. If you want society to change, if you want a better place for your kids, then get involved in your kids' life, in your community, in your church. But don't sit on your couch and bitch when it doesn't go your way.
And what's crazy and is in part of
No, take away from what Secret Service Sam is saying. What's crazy is from the information that I've come across is actually the Metcalf family is the one that's in shambles. From my understanding, Jeff Metcalf is not with his family. He doesn't live with the wife. They're divorced. He's not in the same home with his sons. As a matter of fact, well, I ain't gonna say as a matter of fact, reports say that allegedly Metcalf was abusive to the wife and the sons and has even gotten beat up. Austin Metcalf beat him up and broke his arm, allegedly. Yeah, but yeah, he man, he going all the way in on the black folk, on the Negro delegate, you know. So of course you hear what he's saying. So it's the same old stuff white folks say when they get mad. They all say the same script and stuff. But it's ironic, you know, that particular part of it, because, you know, from all the reports is the Metcalf family is the one that's not together. It's the one that's divorced and split up. And it's strained relationships between the father, the mother, and the sons. Yeah, and well, yeah, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree, and the tree might be rotten too. So, but you know, Jeff Metcalf talking about teaching your kids to do right. Well, from what we do know, your son was a bully. One of the big problems I am having, and why I don't want us to just focus on emotions and just, oh man, look at this white dude saying this and just like start going in. I ain't saying don't go in on them, but I'm saying don't make that your focus, is because, you know, Carmelo Anthony has been given 35 years for defending himself. I don't think that we have enough black people who really get this. I think we have too many black people who are trying to be politically correct. I think we have too many black people who pose as if they want the best for the community, but they're not going to admit that they don't have the answers or don't know how. And so they're just saying what they feel, but also they're saying what matters and it helps them maintain their position and even elevate their position, while they are lying about their white proximity. It's because, you know, I'm hearing a lot of men who are skipping over the fact that Austin Metcalf started all of this. Like, if we want to talk about teaching your family to behave properly, we wouldn't be here if Austin Metcalf was raised properly. Let's just call it what it is. From all the information that we've gotten from this case, Carmelo Anthony was under that tent chilling. Austin Metcalf came in demanding that he moves. What laws or ordinances or rules or authority does Austin Metcalf have to make Carmelo move? And then to hear all the black men saying, well, he should have just left. Austin Metcalf should have sat down and shut up. Austin Metcalf should have not advanced toward Carmelo. He should have not incited anything or even put his hands on Carmelo. Like, what message are we really sending to our community? Hey, black people, don't defend yourself because we scared. Well, how do we create an environment to where we are actually protect or feared, where people understand consequences of messing with us? Right? Of course, people are gonna be, you promoting violence. No, I'm promoting self-defense. We got to start looking at this from different angles, long term. Like, you don't become a powerful group of people living on your knees and always making excuses. Stop making excuses. Carmelo defended himself. They be like, well, he shouldn't have had a knife. He should have walked away. Well, Austin Metcalf should have done all the damn things too. Yeah, but well, y'all know what the system. Austin Metcalf he know the damn law too, right? Now, a young black boy in an environment that is not favorable to him. That's his parents' fault for putting him in that environment. But even in whatever environment in, we have a right to defend ourselves. And that should never be taken away. And we should never be demonized for defending ourselves. So, but and I see your comment, Nimitz, and I do agree. Like, he's in an environment that don't favor him. But also they're expecting a 17-year-old boy to make an adult decision in that situation. I mean, yeah, but power building got to start somewhere. Power building got to start somewhere. It got to start somewhere. And I'm not saying what Carmelo did is the strategy to take. And I'm not saying everybody just go out and do that. Trust me, I'm not saying that. But I am saying power building got to start somewhere. And we got to have some kind of strategy somehow to be able to better protect ourselves and move in these environments. Also, we might want to consider not putting ourselves in these all-white environments on a regular basis. So, you saying, Renee, why couldn't Austin talk to his dad? But let me let the video keep playing.
This video, he tries to say black fathers are not involved in their life. It's like 78% of y'all aren't even involved, when that statistic has been debunked. Black fathers are more involved in their children's life than almost any other race. Next, he has a Mark Wayne Mullen moment, claiming to be Native American, and goes on another racist rant. Look at this.
We are Native American. I have my Indian card and so do the boys. So if you want to talk about stolen land, yeah, that starts here. We were here before y'all were.
Oh, I'm not sure why Carmelo couldn't talk to his dad. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And trust me, let me be clear, Nemesis. I'm not saying we go and swing on everybody who say something to us and swing on first. But what I am saying, like, we do have to defend ourselves, and self-defense starts somewhere. And we have, at some point, we got to get past caring that we're gonna get demonized for defending ourselves, even if we do get demonized. But it just, we got to start. It got to start somewhere. Trust me. And I'm not saying don't go be foolish and just go out there and jump off the porch and try to be a UCF fighter or something, because we don't have the support, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the unity, the strategy, nothing like that in place. But I'm just saying, damn, it got to start somewhere.
They took all our land and put us on a reservation. They just brought you guys over on a boat.
Let me guess, your Indian name is running around with big racist mouth bowl.
The next question is, are you satisfied with the sentence that Carmelo Anthony received? Do you believe Austin has received justice?
That's a real easy question for me to know. Hell no. What is justice? Justice for me is when Austin walks through that door and can hug me. That's how long he should stay in jail. Until my son comes back through that door. Do I think justice was served? No. There's all types of justice.
Right, Jay.
Street justice, legal justice.
Let me guess. Real street justice means strange fruiting someone like you good old boys used to do in the old days, and have picnics and make postcards. I'm sorry for anybody who was triggered by this video, but I thought it was important to debunk Jeff Metcalf saying he's not racist. And now you get an idea for how these twins most likely acted towards Carmelo Anthony, acting like they were superior to him. And I do believe he acted in self-defense, and we need to bring justice to Carmelo Anthony.
I mean, this is all your personal choices. It's none of my business. I stay in my lane. Just don't come in my lane with your bullshit. I respect everyone until they disrespect me. I've been disrespected by so many people, so many times while I've had to sit here and take it. I'm going to tell you right now, Charleston White, You think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're a pussy and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk bitch. What'd you do to that boy to make him stab somebody? My God, what kind of mother are you? Hey, Kevin Hayes, you fucking liar. Day after it happened. How many lies did you sit and type up on your keyboard, you big keyboard warrior? You a big tough man. You still live in Baton Rouge? Remember you said you'd come to Frisco, buddy? You were supposed to find me. I told you we could sit down and talk. That's all you do. Talk, Mr. Squeaky Clean. You're the only one in your family without a damn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture. You people hang your hat on the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Let me make one up. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about Watermelon Felon? How's that one strike you? I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night. Because he's going to have many nights to think about what the fuck he did.
Yeah. I do agree, Nemesis. Carmelo was not culturally raised. Carmelo was not situationally aware. Definitely wasn't. And I have been seeing the situation or whatever they want to call it between Jeff Metcalf and Charleston White. I recently just saw a video where I guess Charleston White just changed his mind on the Anthony family. He's not rocking with Carmelo Anthony's family anymore because apparently Charleston White was supposed to put up $75,000 for Carmelo's appeal. And I just recently saw a video where Charleston White was saying that he's not going to help the Anthony family no more because he think the daddy is soft and don't want to do right with the money. And that's one thing too that I've been hearing a lot about this case from a lot of lawyers and mostly from legal people is that the family didn't handle this right from the beginning. I even remember actually a video came across my timeline from a year ago when the case first happened, when the lead attorney was talking about how the Anthony family was mishandling this case. And so even those factors I never really forgot about the case. So that's another thing we got to look at too. Like Carmelo Anthony was failed on many levels. He was failed. So yeah. But yeah, Charleston White, yeah, he's a character. So you take that stuff with a grain of salt, but I'm still paying attention to it. So it's one thing to say we have to defend, but paying 35 years for defense has to be analyzed in the head before he let his. Now, I trust me, I get it. But I'm also looking at him being the 17-year-old in that situation. Like I don't expect Carmelo to behave any differently in that situation. Like I don't know any other situation where I see a 17-year-old. Well, most 17-year-olds making a better decision. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I know with him, like I don't know why he would have made a better decision than that, being in that, like with him and his being a 17-year-old. But I do wish it was a better infrastructure around him, though, a better system around him that we could use. So yeah, I know, but he still made that decision, though. He's still 17 when he made that decision. I understand what the systematic consequences are, but once again, who prepared him for that? Who prepared Carmelo for that? Nope, nothing prepared Carmelo for that. That's why I've been saying since the other video I made last week that he's been failed systematically. So yeah. Oh shoot.
The dumbest shit I've ever seen. Let me make one up. y'all can make let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such a little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike you? I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night. Because he's going to have many nights to think about what the fuck he did. I forgave him so I don't carry the hate and the anger. So I don't get ate up like cancer and kills you from the inside. It's like me drinking poison and hoping it kills you. It doesn't work that way. You got to let that stuff go or it will kill you. It will eat you up inside.
Well, I mean, you know, Brian Nichols, you know, you don't have to be in the chat. Nobody's forcing you to be here. If the rhetoric in the chat is not to your liking, you know, that's a lot of stuff to watch on YouTube. Pick one. So yeah. Battle Genja. I after I got off the phone with you, I just saw a video of Carmelo Anthony's father saying exactly what you just said, that they were told by a lot of people to pick a white lawyer, and yeah, they didn't know what they was doing. Ain't none of them know what they was doing. This was mishandled across the board. Ain't none of them know what they was doing. He admitted that you know, they didn't know what they was doing, and they were giving bad advice, and they were basically voluntold to pick a white lawyer. So yeah.
Oh, there was no black jurors. You know why? Because you can't be unbiased, you dumb If you answer the question, I can't send a black man to jail because he's black, you're not getting on the jury. You're so unintelligent, you can't even fill out a form correctly. You don't even know who your daddy is because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore. You got baby mamas running around with 8 kids so they can get EBT cards to feed you all. You think I'm being racist? No, I'm being real. Because it ain't only black people. White people do the same. I'll call them out just as hard as I'll call you out. Anybody who doesn't work, who wants free government handouts, who wants to live in a socialistic society, move to Russia. And normally, I don't normally attack people like this, but I have been cooped up and caged up in this anger. And this is something I'm trying to work on. I need to develop it and funnel it into a more constructive way. But tonight is the one time I'm going to.
No, right, Renee. From all the information that I've come across, Renee, you are exactly correct. He did have the money to get the counsel he needed. He did. And they ended up getting that trash counsel that they got. Yeah. So.
I'm going to allow myself, it's okay. Tonight, I'm going to allow myself to say what I really want to say. Because most of the time, I don't say what I want to say because it's not correct. Just because you think something doesn't mean you believe it. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong. Doesn't make it a fact.
So that's his rant. He had to get that off of his chest. He had to let us know what it was. Yeah. But I want black folk to know, because I heard a lot of black people saying, I am happy that he did this. A lot of people are saying, I'm glad he did this because he revealed himself. Okay, so what does that mean? You're saying he revealed himself, but what does that really mean for the case? Does that help Carmelo? Does that reduce his sentence? Does that get him out? Does that change any dynamic in this case? Other than you being satisfied that he revealed himself. Okay, wow, the revelation happened. There it is. Now what? What do we do with that revelation? What do we do with this information? What do you do with the rant? It means nothing. And that's the thing that frustrates me about this. Like, the adults keep failing these kids, and then we mad at these kids for the decisions that they make. I hear a lot of adults. Well, I would have, if he was my son, I would. Then he was my son. Hey, man, look. Stop it. Stop it. Because if everybody was that real, we would have a better system for ourselves. We have a better structure for ourselves as black people. Like, we got to really look at this stuff, right? We gotta stop acting like we got the answers to this. If we had the answers, we wouldn't be in the situation that we in. If we had the answers, it's like, come on, man. So, say I like my white supremacists straight with no chasers, don't I? And well, that's one of the questions I was gonna ask. And to cruise control, you getting ahead. But yeah, that's one of the questions I was gonna ask. Because I'm from Tallahassee, Florida. I'm from the South. I grew up literally seeing the Ku Klux Klan for real in real life. So I'm like cruise control. I like my white supremacists out in the open. I like to know who's who. But how do you all prefer y'all white supremacists? Y'all like them behind closed doors, or y'all like them out in the open? Because I like mine out in the open. I like to know who's who. But at the same time, with knowing who's who, out of all these years that I know that we know such and such is racist, we still haven't done anything about it, and we haven't done anything better to protect ourselves from it. We haven't done anything better to insulate ourselves or even build more power, build more systems in anything for ourselves. So closed casket would be better, but we got to get our weight up. We got to get our weight up. We got to put our adult drawers on so we can stop doing all this dang on complaining. Because, like I say, the frustrating part about this is, even in acting in self-defense, it's still not the best decision for him, because the system ain't designed to protect and to help. The system is punitive for a reason. It's a punitive system, especially against black men. So, no political advocates. That's why we're gonna get into this next video. We're really getting into the political aspect of us and really breaking down our politics and looking at this debate between Gary Chambers and Brandon Tatum, because we don't understand politics. That's why at the top of the show I was saying I like the definition of politics, or look at politics at, even define it as human interactions, how we interact with each other on all levels. And then that's because we're able to see how we're powerless on these many levels. And that's how we can see, that's how we are crazy enough to see this Jeff Metcalf rant as some sort of victory or revelation or something that's good. How is it good? Right. How is this good? I'm happy he did. Man, I was looking at something like this. They had thousands of people in the stream and wasn't saying nothing to help us. It's all the feel good stuff. Like, damn, people want they dope. People want that feel good dope. And that's crazy. Like, come on, man. Right. Political theater. Yes. Said Kyle Rittenhouse is the case study. Someone knowing the laws, knowing how to step to legally Hey, look at here. You have to first know how to defend the world. Whiteness is not supreme. Stop. Well, it's not. Well, tell me what other system is supreme over white supremacy. Why not call it what it is? If you have the flu, you call it the flu. If it's a roach, you call it the roach. What other system in the world is more powerful than white supremacy right now? What power does any other group have that is more powerful and more influential and more destructive than white supremacy? Call it what it is. You build off of truth. Just because you recognize a Tyrannosaurus Rex as a Tyrannosaurus Rex don't mean that you're afraid of it. Just because you say this is the system of white supremacy. What is more dominant than that? Why can't we call it what it is? It's the most dominant system. It's the most dominant ideology. It's the most dominant religion. It's the most dominant force that we have. Why not call it what it is? That doesn't mean you are afraid of it. That doesn't mean you don't work to overthrow it. That means you're just calling it what it is. Who else is supreme? Who else is supreme in the way that they're supreme? Who else has to control the way they have control? Right, exactly. Organized for destruction. And guess what? It's destroying everything in its path. And it's supreme over everything in its path until everything else decides to do something different. All we got to do is decide to do something different. Then it don't even exist no more. Then we don't even got to talk it like that. We ain't got to call it that anymore if we decide to do something different. But go ahead and call it what it is. To say something that's dominant and to say something that's supreme, because in order for you to be that destructive, don't you have to have some kind of supreme force, some kind of supreme power to be that destructive? So let's call it what it is. Let's don't play the word and let's don't be afraid to say it. This is a bottle of water. That's what it is. It's a bottle of water. This is a microphone. Let's call it what it is. So with this bottle of water, if I drink enough of these bottles of water, I will hydrate myself and be able to run on an optimal level. So understand it. Yes, that's the system of white supremacy. So how do we defeat this thing? Because it's like if you in warfare, just like this is war. You in warfare. You come into your enemy. Your squad is outnumbered by the enemy. You're not going to downplay that you're outnumbered by your enemy. You're going to recognize I am outnumbered by my enemy. And because I know I'm outnumbered by my enemies, I can strategize perfectly. I can prepare the right strategies to defeat my enemy. But I got to be honest about what I'm dealing with. So we got to do that. We got to be real about it. And we got to be real about what has happened with this rant with Jeff Metcalf. All right, Jeff said what he said. Now what? And what makes black people so excited? Well, right. No, I wasn't saying we're outnumbered, but we are outnumbered because we're not together. Like if the global numbers don't matter if you're not aggregated. The global numbers, but I was using that analogy to saying that you still have to recognize the threat, like recognize the threat for what it is, right? Yes, globally we're not outnumbered, but we're fractured globally. Why are we fractured? Because the system of white supremacy. It's figured out a small percentage of people have figured out how to control the rest of the globe. So we need to figure out how to take the control back. See, that's why I keep getting shadow banned. But nevertheless, this Jeff Metcalf stuff don't help us unless the people know how to use the information properly. But I doubt it helps. So let's let me say this first. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Welcome everybody. This is your first time. Welcome to On the Shoulders of James. Welcome to this conversation. So we're about to transition from Jeff Metcalf to this conversation this debate between Officer Brandon Tatum and Gary Chambers. Gary Chambers is a Democrat out of Louisiana. And of course, Brandon Tatum lives on his knees for white men. So they are having their political discussion, liberal versus the conservative. So
I believe in offering diverse perspectives on this show.
hold
So
on.
my next guest, represent just that. One is a progressive.
Hold on. Yeah. So, the Cashapp. Joseph $ Joseph Ward 841. I put it in the chat. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but I put it in the chat. Oh yeah, go get you a drink. Go get you a drink. Go get you a drink. Hey man, I thought this was funny. I thought this debate was interesting and funny. As I was watching it yesterday, I found myself looking at both gentlemen like, we don't understand politics. We don't understand power. We don't understand none of this stuff. And that's why we keep getting the results that we get. That's Renee. Renee. We don't understand stuff. That's why we keep getting the results that we get. That's why we get the results that we get, because we don't understand politics. We don't understand America. We don't understand our enemy. That's why we really believe that the Jeff Metcalf rant is valuable information. It's useful information. For who? How? How are they going to use that as valuable information when all of that information that they had in that case, they couldn't use that? Come on, man. We are failing our youth across the board. The adults are failing our youth across the board. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get into this. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, hit that hype button. There's a lot of things that we have to really think about how we want to exist as Black people. Like, do we really understand what we are asking for when we're asking for liberation? Like when we're asking for freedom, when we're asking for autonomy, when we're asking for that, do we really understand what we're asking for? Because I'm not talking about us asking for I guess the environment to be better as we participate within the white system. I'm talking about us having our own. Like, do we really understand what goes with that? And do we also understand that we have no blueprint to get there? Like, don't get it twisted. I love this book, Blueprint for Black Power. But remember, this is all things to be able to build a certain amount of power. But this book is not built on how to defeat white power or white supremacy or racism, anything, what you want to call it, because we've never done that. The closest we've gotten is the Haitian Revolution. So we do know how to get victories, but do we know how to win the war? No. And that's what we need to learn. But we've even forgotten how to win the battle. We've forgotten that. When the last time Black America has won a battle against white folk, against racism, against white supremacy? When the last time we won a battle? On any front. The elders do steer away from the combat discussions. Like we were talking earlier, we have to understand how important combat is. You don't get peace without war. Peace is earned. Freedom is earned. Autonomy is earned. Liberation is earned. You don't just get it because you appeal to people's emotions. You don't just get it because you pray to this certain God and all this thing. No, that's not how it happens. If you say this how it happened, show me a real world example. Show me one anywhere, anytime, anywhere in history. Show me one. Show me one. Oh, we know the civil rights movement was just that, a movement. It moved Black people from where we were to a worse position. Right? Like a bowel movement. to a worse position. Yep. So let me quit because I got a lot more rant in me, but let's go ahead and jump into this video.
As everybody knows, I believe in offering diverse perspectives on this show. So my next guests represent just that. One is a progressive civil rights advocate, entrepreneur, and the founder of Civics for the People. The other is a former Arizona police officer turned conservative YouTube political commentator and a staunch MAGA supporter. Please welcome back to yours truly, Straight Shooter with yours truly, the one and only Gary Chambers Jr. and Officer Brandon Tatum. Both have been on this show before. I loved having them on, so I want to invite them both back on again. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Thanks, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
After last night, man.
No, I'm not good. You're right. I'm not good. I'm not good after the Knicks lost, damn it. I'm not good, but I'm going to get over it for right now for the purposes of this conversation. Let's get right to it. Right now, the state of America is what in your mind, Gary Chambers? Give it to me. How do you?
Hold up, before they get into that, hey, man, we must be doing some good stuff over here. Hey, I want to give us a round of applause. We must be doing some good stuff over here. Y'all, everybody give yourself a round of applause. We got to be shaking these folks up. These trolls keep popping up over here, man. We got to be doing good stuff. We got to be doing good stuff over here. Because if not, the trolls wouldn't be popping up. So y'all give yourselves a good hand for being black folk and having some real good discussions and real civil discourse. We're over here really thinking and really putting some things together because, you know, the trolls are in here, man. They're in here. Y'all give yourselves a round of applause.
View America right now under the Trump administration, part 2.
Chaotic, divided, and unorganized. I think that the Trump administration has brought a whole lot of chaos, very few solutions to the working class people's problem, and a fundamental lack of organization. Everything within his administration is a response to something that's taking place with somebody else. He doesn't have a real plan about how to address anything. We're at war, gas prices are high, food prices are still up, and Donald Trump is lying to the people every day on TV, and the lives of regular, everyday working class people in America are not improving.
Did we expect Donald Trump to be different? Did we expect Donald J. Trump? Hey, Renee, I'm in the mood too. I'm trying to be good. I'm in the mood too. But I'm trying to stay focused, but I'm in the mood too. You know, I'm on. It's a good day. I'm on one. He can definitely get it. But I'm trying to stay focused. Hey, but did black people who did not vote did black people who did not vote for Donald Trump actually expect Donald Trump to make America better for anybody or do anything like outside of improving things for himself? Ronald Trump. But I'm just saying, of course America is not what you want it to be. The people who won ain't the people who had your best interest. Like, we do understand that though, right? I'm just saying we do understand this though, right? The people who won did not have your best interest. Do not have your interest at all. And so why are you surprised at the state of politics under a Donald Trump administration? Why? Hey, and then watch Brandon Tatum come with his knee pads on. I love me some Donald Trump.
Officer Tatum, your response to that would be what as a conservative?
Well, I disagree. I think that we're going through some growing pains, but Donald Trump has made a concerted effort to help with the economy. He's trying to get tariffs put into place. Obviously, he's getting pushback on many of those things. The war is necessary. I mean, there are certain times where we have to get into conflict with different countries. And I think that Donald Trump has a solution. I believe that we're going to resolve this war very quickly, and we're going to see gas prices go down. Us controlling the Strait of Hormuz, us controlling things in Venezuela and Cuba and all of those things, and also Trump trying to gain some leverage in Greenland. All of the things that Donald Trump is doing things that's going to improve the country, which most other presidents were too cowardice to do. So somebody have to prevent pushing the can down the road and actually taking a tough position of trying to make things better. I do think that President Trump is on the right track. I think that there's obstacles. Let's give him the rest of his term and let's see how it pan out.
Gary,
But if you listen to what he's saying, he's in support of the expansion of white power. He's literally talking about the expansion of white power. Being able to think about what position that do you have to be in to be able to say, this country has this and I want it and let's go get it. And you just go get it. And nobody can do anything about it. They can only get mad and say, I don't like that you're doing this. That's called power. That's called domination. That's called supremacy. Now, remember, neither Gary Chambers, Stephen A. Smith, or anybody who may be for or against that you can't do nothing about it, because we keep ourselves where we are, like until the programming changes. Like me and Elizabeth was saying earlier, black people are the majority, but being the majority don't mean nothing if your stuff ain't together. Said, does Stephen Smith represent a successful black man? Well, so most black men see Stephen A. Smith as not a domesticated lion. They see Stephen A. Smith as a domesticated house cat. Most black men and most black people don't respect Stephen A. Smith. They see him as a sellout. So, yeah, entertaining, but a sellout.
when you hear somebody, and listen, it's not an accident. I wanted two black men on this show to start off something that I'm going to be doing a lot of. Black men, black women, conservatives, liberals of all ethnicities. I'm not going to shy away from any of it. But considering the fact that both of y'all are black, like myself, I wanted to ask you, when you hear Officer Tatum highlight the things that he believes that Donald Trump is doing right, and he talks about how the liberals essentially would not have done a better job, whether it's Kamala Harris, whether it's Joe Biden or whomever. When you hear what he explains and how he explains it, how can we take issue with that in your estimation?
I fundamentally disagree with him. If this war was going to be resolved as quick as Donald Trump said it would have been, it would have been resolved months ago. Instead, Brian Kemp just had to let the gas tax back into place, 33 cents added to the average Georgia driver's gas daily in order to cover the expenses of the state of Georgia, because Donald Trump started this war. The other aspect, when you look at this, this has exposed America's weakness, because you were supposed to go in there and devour this country the way that you said you would in a matter of days. And then with drones and all types of things, they've drug you into a month-long war that has increased the cost of living for the people of America. And you talk about Greenland being a benefit. I'm from Louisiana. Jeff Landry, my governor, is off on these quests in Greenland about trying to make Greenland a part of this country. My state ranks 50 in the nation. We rank number 49 in economic opportunity. We rank number 50 in crime. We have one of the worst education systems in the country, one of the most terrible healthcare systems in the country. And my governor, on the request of the president that you supported, is spending time in Greenland rather than fixing the conditions of the people of Louisiana. And so I think that conservatives do a lot of talking around issues, but when you talk about the real meat and potatoes, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, South Carolina, Arkansas, some of the lowest ranked states in the country, all of their governors are Republican. All of their legislatures are super majority Republicans. So you can't tell me, if the worst places to live in America are led by super majority Republicans, how in the hell are those people the answer to the problems of the American people?
Exactly. But the Democrats ain't the answer either. Because remember, at the beginning, I said this really is an argument about which party has failed us the most. Really, if you really thinking about this critically. They are arguing about which party has failed us the most. Gary Chambers is saying the Republicans have failed us the most, and Tatum is saying that the Democrats has failed us the most. But neither man on the screen, including me, is saying what black people have done to build power for ourselves, so we won't continue failing ourselves. Now, I'm the only one on the screen who has been telling us what we can do, but none of us can tell you what we've done to build power for real political power. We don't understand politics for real. The fact that these dudes are the fact that they having this debate, a party loyal debate, the fact that they're having this debate to say my party is better than yours, and neither party can show examples, because basically both men are saying, Gary Chambers is saying your party haven't done anything for us, and Tatum is saying, well, your party keep lying to you. Are they listening to each other? Hell no, they not. And Stephen A. Smith in the middle, just making this money, because Stephen A. Smith understands nothing real comes out of this. Nothing real comes out of this debate. What's the purpose of putting two people of opposing sides in a debate room who have no plan to be able to come? Nobody has a plan to come out with their mind changed. They both are trying to win. How do we learn from this? I'm just saying, the bird has never flown for us. The bird has always hunted us. The bird has hunted us and used us as labor.
Officer Tatum, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, this is too easy. He could walk and chew gum at the same time. Greenland is strategic when it comes to our geopolitical strength.
And remember, they having a conversation about America's dealings in other nations. They ain't even think about black people. Listen to what Brandon Tatum is saying. This conversation specifically, America ain't even thinking about us. America talking about Greenland and Venezuela and these other countries. They're not even thinking about us.
You can't just be isolated into one area and act as if we're going to have some type of economic success across the world. We don't just live on an island by ourselves and it's just the United States of America doing business with the United States of America. But when it comes to some of these arguments about states that are run by Republicans, when you look at people who are struggling, it's these inner city communities. Majority of them are run by Democrats. Majority of them are majority black. And I don't see none of these people in these inner city communities arguing and doing anything to help their own communities. They're still complaining about Louisiana. I know a whole bunch of people that go to private school in Louisiana, or people that go to really prominent schools in Louisiana, and they're doing just fine. So if you want to argue about these inner city communities that are run majority by leftist policies and Democrats, and I'll tell you this, I hope that Mr. Chambers mentioned some of these things when Joe Biden was the president. I hope that he did.
Listen to what he's saying. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. Gary Chambers is saying, the city that I live in, the cities that we live in are ran by Democrats. And we got all these problems. And Tatum is saying, Tatum is saying that the cities are ran by Democrats. Chambers is saying the states are ran by Republicans. So collectively, both parties are failing us. People, are we listening? If the Democrats are running the cities and the Republicans are running the state and things still ain't good for us, what does that mean, people? What does that mean? They not thinking about us. But the biggest problem is we not thinking about us. It is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Now, so the Million Man March, I remember the Million Man March. I was alive for the Million Man March. I remember the Million Man March, but the problem is we can't do anything about it. We're not doing anything with that. And I don't know what was built after that. What was the continuous momentum after the Million Man March? because it happened, but because it's like the Million Man March happened in what, like 92? Let me see. When did the Million Man March happen? Oh, 95. Million Man March happened in 1995. I was in the 5th grade. I was in the 5th grade when the Million Man March happened. By the time I got to college, the effects of the Million Man March, I couldn't tell you what they were. Yeah, I remember Stephen A. Smith running for president. Stephen A. Smith thinks he way liver than what he is, but you know, Stephen A. Smith has proven that remember, I tell you this. I knew Stephen A. Smith was a lame when Michelle Beadle was an anchor on ESPN at the time, and this was around the time when the Ray Rice incident happened. And Stephen A. Smith was not condoning Ray Rice's actions, but what Stephen A. Smith was saying is that women do commit. There was a conversation, and in that conversation, he was saying women do commit domestic violence. Michelle Beadle got mad at him and went and told on him, and they made Stephen A. Smith apologize for telling the truth. That's when I knew he wasn't talking about nothing no more. And the Ray Rice incident, whenever, I forgot what year that happened, whenever that happened, but they made Stephen A. Smith apologize for telling the truth. All Stephen A. Smith said was, well, sometimes women do incite violence. Women do commit acts of violence on men. Women are being domestic against men. And they got mad at him for telling the truth. But looking at the state of black men now, like I don't blame these young girls who cracking on these young boys for wearing these bedazzled jeans. I ain't really gonna go all the way down that road, but men ain't men no more. Masculinity ain't masculinity no more. Whatever momentum came from that Million Man March, it's definitely gone. It's definitely gone. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith, we already know Stephen A. Smith ain't got no spine. We already know Stephen A. Smith ain't got no backbone. We already know Brandon Tatum. Brandon Tatum he been slurping white men so long and so hard. Brandon Tatum walks around with white genitals hanging from his chin. Brandon Tatum, under that beard, got a Peter Griffin chin. That's how hard he slurped white men. Garrett Chambers, I'm just learning about Garrett Chambers, but you know, I don't spend a lot of time learning about politicians because my thing is, if we control the politicians, we will be in a good place. But I understand, why am I gonna waste my time learning about these politicians? It ain't like we gonna use the game, right? I want to understand the game, not the people who trying to play the game. But yeah, let's keep going.
When Joe Biden did absolutely nothing when he was in office, when Joe Biden pretty much run our country down the drain, his military success was dismal. His withdrawal from Afghanistan was terrible. We were not respected around the world whatsoever. I hope that Mr. Chambers has something to say about that. And there's a reason why Mr. Donald Trump was elected president again. It's not through osmosis and because people are stupid. It's because the Democrats have done nothing and they have lied and they have been misleading the public. Donald Trump had another chance to come back because he has done so many incredible things for this country and for the black community. Mr. Chambers cannot mention one thing that the Democrats have done for the black community, and I'll mention a few that Donald Trump has, and I'll wait for him to start.
All right, well, I can follow up, Gary, but I know you were chiming, you were aching to chime in with what he had to say. So go ahead. I'll give you an opportunity to respond directly to what Officer Tatum just pointed out.
Number one, Stephen, I chuckled a bit because you talk about the economic prosperity or the economic relationship between countries. My governor, who has the 50th ranked economy in the state of in the country, you send that guy to go do the economic envoy? So first of all, if Trump's about making deals, you sent the worst negotiator possible to go represent the people of America. That's number one. Number two, you talk about the inner cities. My daughter goes to public schools in East Baton Rouge Parish School System, and it's a great school that she goes to. Number two, when you talk about that, you say this inner city. We've had a black mayor. We've never had a majority Democrat council in East Baton Rouge Parish. In the history of this parish, conservatives have always ran the government that approves the council, which approves the spending of every mayor that's ever existed. So when you talk about this majority black city, because of gerrymandering, because of racialized voting, because of the things that have harmed black people who make up 56% of the city, but we don't have a majority on the council. Let's prove another point. The East Baton Rouge Parish school system, which is 80% black, because Baton Rouge had the longest desegregation case in America. We have an 80%.
But even if you listen to what he's saying, in a majority black school district, white people still control everything. White people control the school district. He's saying the overall school district isn't good. His daughter, because Brandon Tatum tried to flip this. He's saying his daughter goes to a good magnet school. He and his wife have the means for his daughter to go to a good magnet school. But people who don't have the means that he and his wife have, they try to go to the regular schools in the Baton Rouge Parish school system. The overall school system isn't good, even though the magnet school is good. But it's the majority black parish that's controlled by whites, and the overall education system is not up to par. It's one of the worst in the nation. Think about that. Think about what was just said. In this majority black area, white people still control the education, and the education is still not good. And if you want the education to be good, there's a couple things black people need to do. Either create systems where within your neighborhoods where you are teaching your children at home and within the neighborhood, or two, have the money to send your child to a good school. But we know most black people don't have option B, but most black people have access to option A. Oh, but you have to give a damn. You got to give a damn about your kids enough to actually invest in their education. But also, we have to change the way we exist. Family planning has to become something. We have to find a better way to deal with trauma. All these different things. Sex is I ain't gonna say a great way, but sex is one of the ways that our people are using. Sex is the drug our people is using to deal with a lot of the trauma. Unprotected sex because it feels good. And therefore, we're getting a lot of these unplanned pregnancies. People who shouldn't be parents are parenting these children. The competency of a lot of the parents have to be questioned these days, especially in the black community, because homeschooling would be a great option. I'm an advocate for homeschool, but I also understand it take a lot of money. It take a lot of resources. It take resources, and it take give a damn. One of the greatest resources homeschooling takes is give a damn. And most of these people want to get away from their kids. So we're expecting parents who use tablets, TVs, and cell phones to raise their children to give a damn about their children's education. Because I can guarantee you, Garrett Chambers, the type of parent Garrett Chambers is, that give a damn about his child's education in that parish, I guarantee you he's in the minority. I guarantee you he's in the minority. And remember these videos that are going viral around social media of these grown people who can't read. They don't know the word silhouette. They don't know extravagant. They don't know extraordinary. They don't know cataclysmic. They don't know these words, too many syllables. They know how to cuss. They know how to cuss, though. So we want people who can't read to teach their kids how to read. Remember the average American reading level, no matter the race, the average American reading level is 6th grade for adults. Our kids have been failed. We continuously fail the kids. COVID did. The child abuse and domestic violence. Yes, COVID showed a lot. But you're right. One of the comments you made earlier about Oganja, the the domestic violence, the research in female aggression behavior is something Black people do need to research. We need to do our own studies on the violence within our own community, so we can see the truth and build off the real truth instead of the narratives. But let's continue. Oh shoot.
In America, we have an 80% Black school system, but a majority white Republican school board in a majority Black city, because we have a legislature that continues to deny Black people fair representation. So when you talk about these things, you chuckle because you don't have anything to go against these facts.
Come on with it, brother.
These facts that I'm bringing up about local government, because the reason conservatives like to talk about geopolitical things is because that's disconnected from Americans' everyday lives. The things that Donald Trump is doing is making your gas cost more money, but you're listening to this guy. It's making your groceries cost more money, but they're sending my governor to Greenland. They're making your insurance bills cost more money. Your hospitals are closing, and this guy thinks that these things are good for you.
Here you go. Let's talk about this. I could have sworn you just said your daughter goes to a school in this parish that you
public
mentioned.
schools.
A public school.
You brought up private schools.
I said let me finish.
No.
Ain't nobody, hold on, guys. Ain't nobody getting cut off here. This ain't television where you getting cut off in 8 minutes because you got the 8-minute segment. I ain't cutting anything. So you can listen to each other. Go ahead. Tatum. Go ahead. What were you saying?
What I was saying was I was articulating how people are doing well in these private schools. You articulated that your daughter's doing well in this public school that's all Black and controlled by by white Republicans. So make your mind up. Is the white Republicans doing negative things in the inner city that's causing your daughter to go to a school that's bad, or your daughter go to a very successful school in the parish that you're talking about run by white Republicans? Now let's get to some other things when we talk about geopolitical perspective. You're saying that Donald Trump sent Landry to Greenland, like he sent them there to live, like he sent them there to be the governor of Greenland. It's Donald Trump knows who has the
question. And this is a petty question. I haven't been petty yet, so I do get a chance to be petty. How many brain cells do y'all think Brandon Tatum have? I just want to know from the chat. Y'all let me know. How many brain cells do y'all think are actually active in the mind or in the brain of Tatum? So how many brain cells y'all think he have that's actually active in his head? Let me know.
Ability to negotiate, people have the ability to make differences and changes. Landry won because he was incredibly successful as a politician there, and then he won the governorship. And I believe he's one of the best governors you guys have had. Now, if you want to blame every single aspect of what's happened in Louisiana on one governor, then that's problematic.
OTSOG, let me interject by saying this. First of all, every hire that Donald Trump makes, every suggestion that he makes doesn't necessarily work. He's had a lot of turnover in his administrations, both 1 and 2, number one. But I will say this to you because it gets me to a bigger point. When we talk about geopolitics and you look at Donald Trump, whether it's in Israel, whether it's in Iran, whether it's in Venezuela, rumors about Cuba, et cetera, you even have folks on the MAGA right side that are saying, he's going against his campaign promise about putting America first. They have said that about him. How do you answer that, Officer Tatum?
I think I disagree. There's a difference between saying we don't want endless wars that don't make sense and that we can't have a war at all. When you have Iran getting a nuclear weapon, that's existential threat to the United States of America and all of our allies in the region. And the United States of America isn't the only country that's participating in stopping Iran from having a nuclear weapon. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, some of these other Muslim nations that don't want terrorists in their region are in lockstep with the United States.
Yeah, but all those people are allies in the United States. They're ensuring that other groups can't stop their terrorism. Right, Renee. We do have to stop doing. You come on. That's why I always say we come online to trade ideas to a certain extent, to build to a certain extent, and then the real work is offline. Like we could teach the beginning information on here, but the real work is offline. But they in here really trying to strategize. But we need think tanks, Black people. We need think tanks. And let me say this: our organization, myself, Pat, and PC. PAX Inc. is a think tank. PAX Inc. is a think tank. We need think tanks, and we need more members in our think tank. We need military science. We need military science. We need think tanks. We need institutions. We need real building. When it comes to politics, we need to understand how to build politicians and how to buy politicians. I'm gonna say that one more time. When it comes to politics, one of the reasons why a lot of these politicians don't work for us, because they don't work for us. I'm gonna say that again. One reason that these politicians don't work for us is because they don't work for us. You either build your politician or you buy your politician. Yes, PACS Inc. PACTS. PACTS Inc. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. PACTS Inc. But what we've, especially reading Blueprint for Black Power, but what I've learned just studying politics and civics and stuff over the years is like these youth groups. You use youth groups to recruit young, promising children with talent, and then you indoctrinate the hell out of them. Oh, PACS Inc. It's a think tank. It's a community. It's a nonprofit organization that does community work. It's also a think tank, and it's also a hub for Black history information. That's what PACS Inc. is. PACTS Inc. But you use youth groups to heavily indoctrinate these young people in your ideologies. You get them on your side. You invest in them. You invest in these people. So when they become politicians, they are already on your side. All you gotta do is keep feeding them the money. You indoctrinate them from the beginning. We don't understand politics. Why? Because we always trying to vote for the most popular person. And then in this account, we don't vote locally. We always are voting nationally, and we always are eager to vote for the lesser of the two evils. But we don't understand politics. We should have organizations or be part of organizations that groom young Black people. That's one of the reasons I do my Black History School. We talk about racism, we talk about white supremacy, but we also talk about solutions to it. We also talk about how can we empower ourselves. And I'm heavily indoctrinating these young people into the information that we need to build ourselves so we can have future thinkers for us. We're not just knowing the history, we're knowing how to critically think about the history to be able to use the information that we learned from history and apply it to our everyday lives. That's politics. I told you politics is human interactions. But let's continue. Please hit that like button.
America and Israel to fight in those efforts. So I understand why Donald Trump has engaged in this. Donald Trump has never gotten us into an endless war like we were in Afghanistan and Iraq. I do believe that Donald Trump is going to get us out of this war. We're not going to stay in it, in perpetuity. He's going to get his mission accomplished, and then we're going to get out of there. That's my faith towards what Donald Trump has done historically and what I believe he's going to do currently. We haven't been there for a year. And Donald Trump has, and our military have controlled all of their military assets. They really have no leverage. That's why you don't see conflict back and forth. We're in that region, controlling the region. And that's the difference between us getting in the war and it's out of control and we don't know, what's coming next. They don't have any retaliatory availability against.
Yes, Black Butterflies. Policy writing and lobbying is all a part of that. Yes, it's all a part of that. Policy writing and lobbying, but policy writing and lobbying works best when you have politicians on your side that will help get them through. That Theotard parents was always my problem. MLK effed us with the nonviolent movement because Black people took that way too late. Yeah, Black people really didn't fully understand MLK's philosophy behind nonviolence. But also, I implore people to study who is Vernon Johns. Who is Dr. Reverend Vernon Johns? Dr. Reverend Vernon Johns preceded MLK. Reverend Vernon Johns was replaced by MLK because Vernon Johns was labeled as too radical. Vernon Johns was talking about actual practical solutions for black people. And they replaced them with a young, impressionable, moldable person who they indoctrinated heavily to lead the civil rights movement. People don't realize, right? Malcolm X was heavily indoctrinated with the ideologies of Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. Martin Luther King was heavily indoctrinated with the ideologies of the civil rights movement. They both were parrots in their young states. Both when they were young, they were parrots because they were heavily indoctrinated by the systems that created them and pushed them out into the forefront. And why do you think they were so supportive of these institutions? Because they were indoctrinated in it. And until they both were able to reprogram themselves and come with new programming, they were indoctrinated. That's why you do that. So these politicians and these people will support you. You indoctrinate them from the beginning. You don't wait till they become politicians. You got to get them early. Yeah, Vernon Johns was the man.
Our United States military, they do not. I don't even think they have a Navy. So when we're looking at these things, it's a difference between having Trump derangement syndrome and saying everything he does is bad and saying, let me give a man a chance to prove himself. Now, if he's in war, we in war in that country for a year, 2 years, then me and you can have this conversation again. But until Donald Trump get an opportunity to finish what they started, then I'm going to support what he's doing.
Gary, let me transition to you by asking this question. When you listen to what Officer Tatum has to say, to cliff note it from a generic perspective, he's talking about placing faith in a president that is Donald Trump, who he considers to be far better than anything the liberals have offered in recent memory. Because ultimately it harkens back. Every time I run across independents or conservatives, they're looking at what the Democratic Party hasn't done for the black community, and they're asking the question, why should the community's faith be placed in that party? Why not try something new, even if it is Donald Trump? To that, you explain what?
Well, I'm going to answer that before Stephen A. Smith goes. But yes, Elizabeth, yes. I've said that from the beginning. All of our scholars, our leaders, all the people who came and gave us information, they only gave us pieces of the puzzle. We need to put those puzzle pieces together to be able to see a clearer picture. But to Stephen A. Smith's point, black people have been a part of both parties historically in America. Black people have been a part of both parties, and it's gotten us here where we are with no real power in 2026, no real power. Once again, you don't get power or you don't get what you need by being a part of a party. You get what you need by making people work for you. Participation does not mean power. Participation does not mean influence. Participation does not mean leadership. Participation means just that you are participating in it. Being a part of the voting process, being a part of either party means nothing with no real power, no real influence, no real infrastructure, no real way of making sure our demands get met. It doesn't matter what party you're a part of. Think about the situation we're in. We already know that the Republicans ignore us. And we already know that the Democrats lie to us. So why should we give a damn about either party? Because we're foolish. There you go.
Number one, I would say that I want to address that he brought up that Iran can't handle us. The retaliation from Iran is economic retaliation. They are forcing the American people to have an economic pressure right now that may cost Donald Trump the midterm elections. That's
you talking about the Strait of Hormuz? You talking about the Strait of Hormuz?
Closing the strait and costing the American people money every single day that strait is closed. That's number one. Okay. Number two, when you talk about Democrats versus conservatives, right now in this country, a conservative majority Supreme Court is stripping away power from black people to serve in Congress. Now he can shake his head at that, but why does that matter? Because as somebody black in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where Louisiana elected the first black person to Congress in the history of this country.
Elizabeth, he don't know no better. Talking about our people, he don't know no better.
Willis Menard in the 1800s, Willis Menard was denied the ability to serve in Congress because a person who was from Congress who later became president said that it was not time for a black man to serve in Congress. You follow that up and you go 100 years later before William Jefferson is elected to Congress in the late 1980s. William Jefferson, Cleo Fields, Cedric Richmond, Troy Carter. 4 people in the history of this country that are black have served in Congress from the state of Louisiana. In that same time, 170 plus white men have gone to Congress from Louisiana in the same period of time. But you're sitting here telling me that this is a fair system to black people. And the people who are orchestrating taking away that power from black people is Donald Trump and his Supreme Court. And as a black person who lives in one of the impacted communities, this is the first time in my lifetime since I was 6 that a black person represented me in Congress from all of Baton Rouge. What does that mean? It means that Southern University, the only HBCU system in America, is finally getting financial appropriations from the federal government to improve the campus of Southern University so that young black children can be educated up on that campus. When Garrett Graves was there, he wasn't sending any money to Southern University, but Cleo Fields surely is. And that matters to black people who are from Baton Rouge, who live in North Baton Rouge, where that is an anchor within our community economically.
So
I guarantee you Cleo Fields was not the first Democrat to ever be in a position to do something for black people in that parish. But Cleo Fields is the first person that he's saying to do something on that level because Cleo Fields is a black person. And so are y'all hearing what I'm hearing? Because this is a conversation. Once again, this is a debate about who's failed us the most. And, you know, child of God, I do agree that we have way more power than we understand on so many levels. But I think that's the whole thing. It's designed for us not to understand our power. But if we ever get to a point to where we understand our power and aggregate our power, oh, man. If we could throw off these shackles, we'd be some bad mama jammas, right? So, but listen to what he's saying. Like, I guarantee you that person is not the first Democrat. And so we have to start really taking a critical look, look beyond the parties. Stop letting people fool us into thinking that we have to align ourselves with the party. We don't. And these frivolous debates like this is a waste of time. What do we learn? What have we learned from this? What are we learning from this? What's the outcome of this? Are these two gentlemen going to be able to get together and build something offline? No. Are these two gentlemen adult enough to agree to disagree to be able to work in the best interest of the community? No, because we already know Officer Tatum don't have interest in this community. I don't know that much about Gary Chambers. I'm just not learning about him, but I would learn more about him, but I don't know. And we know Stephen A. Smith ain't. Stephen A. Smith is going to do everything he can to make sure ESPN don't snatch away them $10 million. So says we have tools and solutions at hand. It won't be easy, but we definitely can do it and defend ourselves in the process. Right. We just got to be willing. We just got to have that give a damn and be willing to put in the work and roll up our sleeves, man. You know, freedom ain't free. Says I'm an elder. I'm not of the average way of thinking. I'm not alone, but we are not the voices emphasized by right. And that's by design. We are not the voices emphasized by the system. But look at the numbers of the people that are in here. If I was in here talking about something stupid about Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, or talking about ASAP Rocky wearing a thong, or hell, if I was in here promoting diaspora wars, it'd be 1,000 people in here. But we be in here thinking though. So shout out to you all. Give yourselves another round of applause for being a great group of people. Round of applause to yourselves for being a great group of people who down with critical thinking. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
He's in an affected community, but his daughter goes to a prominent school that's doing very, very well. She's doing great, and it's run by white people. Now let's go to the point where you let's go to the point where you make this point about.
Hold on, officer. Gary, what's not true about what he just said?
The school system is ran by a black man, that is Lamont Cole. And the school that my daughter attends is a magnet school in the public school system, because my family decided to put my daughter in early childhood education, and we had the resources in order to provide for her. My daughter goes to one of the best schools in East Baton Rouge Parish school system.
Hey, Nemesis, Nemesis. Nah, no, don't be hiding, Nemesis. Bring your drinks to the chat. Bring your drinks to the chat, Nemesis. What's going on, options?
I'm not talking about the majority of the school system. And the original point that I made was about Louisiana's public schools ranking number 47 in the country.
All right. Let's go ahead. You just proved my point, my man.
What's going on?
A black man run this school and is very successful, and a black family has an opportunity to put their black daughter in a very prominent and successful school in Louisiana. So the white man don't have no power over what you can accomplish if you guys put your stuff together, get your stuff together, and do the right thing. Now let's get to.
Hey. Did you hear what Officer Tatum just said? Even though the way he said it, like the whole dynamic of what he said and how he said it is crazy. He's talking to Gary Chambers as if he's not black. Now, of course, he's talking about Louisiana, but he's talking to Gary Chambers also as if he's not black, because Officer Tatum knows his interests and Gary Chambers' interests aren't the same. But also, if that Baton Rouge parish is majority black, what are the black people doing for themselves? Why aren't the black people in control of the school systems down there? Why when we find areas that are predominantly black, for the most part, black people don't control the government. They don't control the systems of the institutions. Why is that, black people? And then we have the nerve to complain about the government. We can't even control the institutions we may build for ourselves. Come on now.
To this whole thing about race, you're saying black people represent me. It ain't about race. It's about whether a person can represent the constituency or not. Are they effective or are they not? Because it doesn't matter about the color of somebody's skin, because we had a black president that did nothing for black people. He did nothing. Donald Trump did more for black people than Barack Obama could have.
And see what he just saying. Let me let him finish.
When you talk about loan guarantee, or not loan guarantees, when you talk about money that has been guaranteed given to HBCUs, Donald Trump secured that, and Obama could never secure that.
So me on Obama's Obama's last year in office, Barack Obama's last year in office, me, Pat, and PC were having candid conversations about Barack Obama. And one of the things that we were emphatic about was that Barack Obama has a chance in this last year to do something, at least one little thing for black people. Because if not, he's going to set himself up to be a punchline. Because any white person can just say, I did X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z don't have to be nothing significant. X, Y, and Z don't have to be nothing that gives a real impact to black people. But they can say Barack Obama didn't do it. The Republicans didn't do it. Y'all had the Democrats didn't do it. They can say y'all had a black Democratic president, and that black Democratic president didn't do this. And Donald Trump did this and this and this, and such did this and this. We said it. We told black people. And it's a punchline. All Donald Trump only had to do one thing. That's how bad it was. Donald Trump only had to do one thing that is remotely said to help black people, even though black people feel no real effect from it, even though it doesn't really help black people. But as long as it's said or designed or in the spirit of helping black people, it's more than what Barack Obama has done, specifically for black people. But what's the overall lesson that we've learned from this? The overall lesson is neither party gives a damn, and they'll keep showing you the things Donald Trump did. How has the initiatives, whatever the things that Officer Tatum is naming that Donald Trump done for black people, how has that truly helped to empower Black America? Right. Anything like they can say Donald Trump pardoned Kodak Black. That's still more than what Barack Obama did, even though it's nothing. And but once again, the things that Brandon Tatum are talking about, what's the real effect on Black America? How is Black America better because of those things? And not the people that Donald Trump know, but real Black America, everyday Black America that's suffering. How is everyday Black America better? And a lot of times I know what it sounds like. I'm not sure about Gary Chambers, but I know Stephen A. Smith and Officer Tatum ain't really in the community. And I know what it sounds like when people be talking and they're not really in the community. Because if Officer Tatum really think Donald Trump has done things tangible for black people, there's no real effects of it. Right, child of God. Right, Renee. I was finally able to get shrapnel removed from my body that I walked around with for years, almost amongst other things. Obama expanding the Affordable Care Act has been way overdue. Men sitting in jail tell themselves they have power. This prevents them from going insane. They have the power of mind, but we seek different power. Right. But that power of mind needs to be translated into real tangible power. And that's the thing. Black America has not set up a system for ourselves to translate power of mind into actual, tangible, real world power. And that's the problem. Yeah, we can see that. But I'm with you, Nene. I'm with you, Nene. No, because Elizabeth, I'm with you. Power of mind is there, but we have to be able to translate that into real tangible power. And we haven't figured out how to do that, or we're afraid to do it. One of the two.
You talk about opportunity zones. When you talk about the First Step Act, that's legislation that was passed under President Donald Trump that Barack Obama would never in his life dream of doing. You cannot name one thing that Barack Obama has done. You cannot name one thing that a black politician who's a Democrat has done to help the black people in your community or communities across the United States of America. You can't name one. And then let me say this. You keep saying that somehow the white man is making sure black people are not serving in Congress. There's a ton of black Democrats that are serving in Congress. There's a ton of them. I mean,
they're attempting to take their seats.
You said, excuse me?
And they're attempting to take their seats.
Attempting to take their seats through what?
You're right.
The Supreme Court gerrymandering their seats away.
That's where I was going next. With the whole
and child of God, I do recognize that a lot of people did come home with Donald Trump doing what he did, but that still is not anything that would translate into real power building for black people. So, we have to look at things that really help us become better versus are symbolic. But that did happen in real life.
With the whole redistricting and gerrymandering issue, that's exactly where I was going next. Go ahead, Officer Davis.
This is where the gentleman, Mr. Chambers, you're wrong. In many of these cases, the reason that the redistricting did not work out, especially in Louisiana and other places, because they were doing it based on race, and that is not constitutional. And so if you're going to say you need to redistrict because black people need a benefit or black people should be represented, white people can't do that either. So that is the reason why some of the redistricting and lines being drawn was denied by the Supreme Court, is because they did it based on race. This is what black people have been fighting for so many years, is that you cannot make those decisions based on race. And when they try to make them based on race, they were denied in the Supreme Court.
Officer Tatum, I respect where you're coming from. I guess my pushback, and I'll let Gary chime in a second. I just want to add my 2 cents here. I guess where I chime in, I feel compelled to chime in. When we think about civil rights, when we think about the Voting Rights Act, when we think about things of that nature, I'm looking at it from the standpoint that once upon a time, okay, even though a lot of us will look at it Racism still exists. You know, it might not be as obvious in a lot of people's eyes, but there's no question that racism still exists. Make no mistake about it. And we ain't going to get around that. But the point is, it was so glaring, it was so flagrant, whether it was Jim Crow laws or anything else, okay, in the 60s and beyond, or even before that. The reality of the situation is the laws that came into play were necessary. And so why were they necessary? Because we had a community within our country that were taking advantage. They had the power. They obviously were exploiting it at every turn. And it took federal legislation to be implemented in order for us to negate the kind of momentum they were continuing to build and build and build for decades, if not longer. So my point is that when we sit up there and we say, well, you know what, redistricting and gerrymandering and these issues had to be addressed because people were making decisions based on race. I'm like, but that's because decisions beforehand were made by race, were made on the basis of race, but it was just by the side in power. How can we ignore that reality that it was compelled? How can we ignore that?
Which were the Democrats. So Mr. Chambers claimed that I'm assuming he claimed he's a Democrat.
So even listening to Brandon Tatum's point right there, right? The parties have switched. The parties switched. Why do we keep switching with them? Why are we party loyal when the parties will switch on you? So, I mean, you know, but also, even the larger debate, well, a debate within the debate about whether who did more for black people, Donald Trump or Barack Obama, even that debate, even that is something that we should not be concentrating on, because even in that, it's still an argument about who failed us the most. It's still an argument about who failed us the most, because whatever Barack Obama did or whatever Donald Trump did, when we really look at it, when we really examine it and aggregate it, how does that translate to us being better? How does that translate to real power? How does that translate to black people being in a better position than what we were yesterday or last year or 5 years ago? Because we got to understand, nobody in the American government is going to do anything to truly empower black people. But the sadder part about that is most of black America ain't going to do a damn thing to make sure that we're empowered, because we're waiting on somebody to come save us. The people we're waiting on to save us is the same people that we are like, y'all keep oppressing us. That don't make no damn sense. It doesn't make sense to have faith in political parties or a government who continuously fails you. If you know I steal, will you leave your wallet around me? Let's say I've stole, you left your wallet around me 5 times, and all 5 times I stole your wallet. I'm consistent with my actions. Are you going to continue to leave your wallet around me? Are you going to continue to trust me with your wallet? Because that's black people. We continue to trust our future with these political parties who continue to show us that they don't have our best interests. Come on, people.
Assuming that he vote for Democrats, he's saying that Democrats will do a better job than Republicans, even in his state. But the people who were implementing these things that were against black people, Jim Crow and all of the above, were all Democrats. You know, slavery was initiated by Democrats. Republicans are the ones that abolished slavery. Republicans are ones that majority voted for and passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment unanimously. It was not the Democrats. Democrats in the Jim Crow South.
Bruh, it was the name of the party don't matter. The name of the party don't matter. They switched parties. Whatever, man. Because Brandon Tatum think he's smart. The ideologies and things are of the people who were of the other party. It just was under another label. But black people, why did the parties switch? Bigger question, black people, why did the parties switch? Forget what Brandon Tatum is saying. Brandon Tatum is arguing frivolous stuff that doesn't matter. Because the people who were, never mind. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Brandon, that's why I asked, how many brain cells does he have? His argument is moot. It leads to nothing for us, though.
The Dixiecrats were the ones that were prejudiced and racist against black people. And so I would like for Mr. Chambers to acknowledge at least that the history of racism and prejudice and putting black people aside were perpetuated by Democrats. And they're lying today, acting as if Republicans are doing these things. When you look at the majority of black cities are run by Democrats, and they've run it into the ground. The murder capital of this country is a Democrat-run city that's full of black people. Why is that the case?
Gary, go ahead.
Okay. He said a whole lot of things. Number one, white supremacy is what I'm against.
Right, but Brandon Tatum did say something significant right there. And what I stated too earlier. A lot of these cities that are majority black, that it's not good. They are Democratic run cities, but they are Democratic run cities in states that are Republican. Going back to what I said earlier, that's proof that both parties are failing you. Black people, there's proof that both parties are failing you. If the Democrats run the cities and the Republicans run the state, what that mean? We losing on the local level and on the state level and on the federal level. What does that mean? But even going to what Gary Chambers is about to say, looking at the overall system of white supremacy, it uses the American government. That these cats are crazy. Hey y'all. Once again, I want to give us an immaculate round of applause. The trolls are back. The trolls are back. Give yourselves a round of applause. The trolls are back. They're back. They're back. We must be effective over here. We must be effective over here because the trolls keep coming out. And I appreciate the comments because you help the algorithm. But that lets you know. That lets you know we over here putting in work. We doing our thing. We in here doing our thing because the trolls take their time to come into these comments and type out their comments to come waste their time in these comments. They come wasting their valuable lifetime to spend time with us. Hey man, they love what we talking about. Justice Jane, I'll give you my autograph after the show. I'll give you an autograph after the show. I appreciate your comments, and we'll give you an autograph after the show. You know. Yeah, Brandon ain't lie about that though. He didn't.
Not sitting here arguing with you about Democrat or Republican. White supremacists were orchestrating these things against black people. Now, do white supremacists switch political parties? Yes. In America, they were Democrats in the beginning, they're Republicans today. And the proof of that is Steve Bannon and the likes of those folks are in the Republican Party. Stephen Miller is in the Republican Party. The Project 2025 comes out of the Republican Party. I let you finish, now let me cook. When you go furthermore, when you talk about the lack of things that have happened for black people, I just told you a Republican represented me in Congress for a decade, Garrett Graves. Not a damn thing happened for North Baton Rouge economically while Garrett Graves, a white Republican, was in Congress. I'm not talking about in 1965. I'm talking about in the time that I have been a voter, voting for the people that were able to be elected within my congressional district. Until Cleo Fields was there, where they gave black representation, there was not a $9 million investment happening within 5 minutes away from my home. 5 minutes away from my home, there's a $9 million investment where young black people are going to be able to go in the community and enjoy themselves because of Congressman Cleo Field. That kind of stuff wasn't happening in my neighborhood when Garrett Graves was in Congress. The white.
But no. Why aren't black people in those communities putting their resources together to make sure things like that happen for ourselves? The more you depend on government, that's one of the things I really don't like about us as black people is our dependency on the government to do things for us that we should be doing for ourselves. We got to change our mindset. You heard what he said. They have a complex for young black men in that parish. The first time they had it because of Congressman Cleo Fields, never had it before. Well, why not? Why not? Why are black people constantly in a position to where we never build for ourselves and we want everybody else to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves? Well, why not? Come on, man. And see, Nene, I feel you, Nene. I feel you, but see, we dealing with bullies, and the bullies ain't gonna leave us alone because we ain't bust them in the mouth, and that's our problem. Like we continue to be a victim. We continue to be vulnerable until you bust the bully in the mouth. He gonna keep messing with you.
Republican. Furthermore, when you dig deeper into the conversation about the impact for black people from Democrats, if you look at how these things work to be effective, I understand government very well. Local government relies on state government and federal government to help them meet the needs of the people because the resources are limited. If the local government is being boxed out by the state government, which happens all the time here in Louisiana, if you have a Republican governor, they're going to help Republican elected officials in those cities. Or you have a governor like Jeff Landry, who has been targeting New Orleans ever since he became the governor. You talked about Jeff getting elected. He got elected, Stephen, with 19% of registered voters in the state of Louisiana. 19%. We're not talking about a man who was elected with an overwhelming majority. The election turnout was so low in the election that only 19% of the registered voters in this state voted for him. 500,000 people. There are 925,000 registered black voters in Louisiana. The reason Louisiana continues to be in this condition is because now this is where you could agree with me on something. The Democratic Party continues to fail black candidates as well. The Democratic Party continues to think that white is right all the time, and they end up losing in races where they could be more competitive because they won't invest right now.
But you keep voting for them. You can articulate that, but you keep voting for them. You keep voting for them. How do you make that statement with that much emphasis and still vote for those people? What about abstaining? What about coming up with a better system? Well, Elizabeth say we have to love ourselves more than we value others. That's why we continuously be in this system with the savior syndrome. Nobody's coming to save us. There are no black people that are coming to save us either. We are the black people that should be saving us. The days of the Martin Luther King, the Malcolm X, and all those things, they were over. And then remember, they didn't save us. No disrespect to Dr. King and Malcolm, but they didn't save us. And remember, when they were taken out, the momentum stopped. Do we really want to repeat that? What about using a code of conduct? We got to learn everything. We got to do better in learning, like how this world really works and how to really gain power and protect it. We need to be able to defend ourselves. We need to be able to build. We need to be able to protect. We need to be able to monetize. We need to be able to take what we need at some points in time, like real power. Stop living on our knees. But let me let this play for a little more. Then we're gonna wrap this up.
You have a brother running in Mississippi for the U.S. Senate in Scott Cologne. Scott Cologne is a district attorney in Mississippi that's already elected. How much money has the Democratic put into Scott's campaign to beat Cindy in Mississippi? He has a real shot. He has a real shot because Mississippi is 38% black, Stephen.
Let me ask you this. Hold on for a second. Gary, let me ask you this question, because sticking with this gerrymandering issue, the black vote, states impacted. Your state, Louisiana, obviously. Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, South Carolina. Those are the primary states affected. I'd ask you this question. Considering everything that you just highlighted and everything that you just said, Gary, how would you explain the fact that Trump gained black voters in the last election?
I think that the Democrats do a terrible job talking to black people. I think that the Democrats do a terrible job talking about the issues that are important to black people. I think that though the Democrats have a better economic plan for making the economy work, the data proves, even when you brought up the war, who put us in the forever war? George Bush put us into the 20-year war that we ended up in that cost America billions of dollars on end. Republicans put us in economic peril, and Democrats.
I hate when they talk about war as if it's one-sided, like as if we wouldn't know wars under Democratic president. Like all these presidents have a job to do, and that's to keep advancing white supremacy. The war would have happened with or without Trump. Stop it.
Dig us out. When Barack Obama took office in 2008, the economy was in the trash can. When he left office in the end of 2016, he gave Donald Trump a prospering economy that he ran into the trash can. Joe Biden pulls it up a little bit. Donald Trump runs it back into the trash can. And Joseph here sits there and tells us that that's the solution for the American people.
But Gary, how can you say, like, for example, Biden ran it back into the trash can when it wasn't just him, it wasn't just Obama, it was Trump too, and I get it, George W. Bush as well. We got a $39 trillion debt. Every administration has contributed to that. These cats spend money. They're not saving. They're not cutting. They're not investing.
Who started the war, though, that contributed to the debt and sending us way into the left field? Conservatives. Yeah. When Bill Clinton left office, the debt was going down. He was taking the debt down under Bill
surplus.
Clinton. George Bush comes in, and we haven't come back yet. So we have to. One of the things that I hate about the way we do politics. Please slow down. One of the things I hate about the way we do politics is we act like we can't remember what the cause of a thing is. Yeah. We talk about all of the symptoms, all of the things that happen after that. But how did we get here? And if we deal with the very beginning of a thing, we can begin to fix it. When you talk about this gerrymandering thing, Stephen, to button that up, I'm from the city where the men who filed the lawsuit are from. I know some of the people who filed this lawsuit. I know they're racist. I don't have to ask anybody, are some of these people racist individuals? I've sat at lunch with these individuals. I know that they don't support black candidates when they run for office in this community. I know very well that some of these individuals mean well in their heart on certain things. But when you get to talking about race, they cannot see past certain issues because they feel like in some way we are taking something from them when the reality is we have never had this.
No, Chef CT, you are exactly correct. They go nowhere. That's why I said at the beginning, I don't know what the overall purpose of this was, just for views. Because Stephen A. Smith knows that this type of clash will get views. But how does this benefit? Because he masked this as a conversation between three black men and something that black people can take from this, because this is a black conservative and a black liberal and they're debating in this. But yeah, we get nothing from this. It's not like they're going to agree to disagree. It's not like there's going to be anything they build from this or work together from this, as I stated earlier. Nothing. This is for views and clicks, and this further divides us, and it further keeps us away from building real power because we concentrating on stuff that don't even fucking matter. We can't do nothing about nothing going on in any other country. Hell, most of us can't do nothing about anything going on in other states. Hell, some of us can't do nothing about anything going on in other neighborhoods in the same city. Well, I'm not understanding, if you black in America, why are you worried about what's going on in any other country? Why? The price is gonna go up. Right. You can't do nothing about it. I mean, because this thing called unity that we keep talking about, this thing called building, we keep talking about that most black people are afraid to do. The actual real work. Until we do that, we're gonna be at the mercy of all this stuff. So why are you worried about it? Why are you worried about it? If America sinks today, we going down with it. If America gets attacked today, guess what? We get attacked too. What are we going to do about it? We can't do nothing about it. I'm not understanding the obsession that I see these black people with these other countries and this other stuff. Well, we got to talk about the geopolitics and stuff. It doesn't matter to you. You can't even control neighborhood politics. Most black people don't even care about local politics. But you're an expert on geopolitics. You don't even know who your city commissioners are. You don't even know why your city commissioners are running. How many phone conversations have you had with your city commissioners? How many building sessions? Come on, people. Y'all don't understand this stuff. Y'all don't understand how cities are ran. They don't understand how this stuff it really happens out here in this real world, man. That's why I keep saying we're playing Uno. We're holding Uno cards in our hand, turned backwards at the chessboard, thinking we finna do something. Nemesis, what you drinking, man? I need a drink, bro. I need a drink. You need to share your drinks, man. You don't be sharing your drinks. But come on, people. Like, I get it. We're emotionally invested into political parties and the whole political theater. We're invested in that. But what's the outcome? How do we man, give me some water. Well, I got my own water. But yeah, come on, people. Come on, like really understanding, like that's why the book readings are important. Right, Nene. Right. We got to understand, like, nobody's going to do this for us but us. Nobody's coming to save us. No political party. Even these people that we vote for. Think about how many people we vote for, how many black folk we vote for that fail us on the local level, state level, and the national level. We're right now, the local elections that's coming up in our city, people are working to correct the city commission because we got too many sellouts on our city commission. We got black people on our city commission who actively work against the black community because they want to make sure that they ensure their white proximity. I'm just saying. And things like that is another reason why people don't mess with Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith, man, he think he doing something. But you ain't doing nothing but throw more flames on the fire, Stephen A. Smith, between the black and the black conservatives and the black liberals. And we didn't learn anything. And you know damn well we aren't gonna learn nothing from something with damn Jason Tatum. We either gonna get it together or continue watching this thing fall as we fall with it. Because when America falls, we fall with it. Y'all keep talking about America gonna fall. We gonna fall right along with it. There you go. And it's hard. It's gonna be hard for us to build family when we don't like each other. So, man, that's my time, man. I enjoyed y'all these last 2 hours. That's my time. You see, we explored the Jet Metcalf rant. Nothing comes from that for us. And we're exploring our ignorance of politics on display for the world. What up, though, G Money? What up, though? Hey. Well, you know, black people are anti-family. We too good for family. Family this, family that. Black people really think that family is something that holds us back. I hear so many people saying that family is people used to have to get family in the past because they just needed family. Now we can make it on our own. and then when things happen to them, they looking for the community to save them. Well, what community? We have no community. We don't have no families. So even that, we don't. How we gonna understand politics when we don't understand family? And you know we don't understand power. So yeah, but that's why we do what we do over here. That's why we continue to learn. That's why we come over here. We continue to learn. And remember, we take this and we go learn even more offline, and the real work happens offline. Make sure you are doing stuff active in your community to help make your community, your people actually better. All right. I appreciate you all. And one more time, y'all give yourself a round of applause for being great. Yeah, y'all give yourselves a round of applause. So remember, back live again Tuesday at 9 p.m. And then, we got Wednesday night breakdown, Wednesday at 7 p.m. And man, y'all take care of yourself. Y'all be safe. Let's make sure that we continue to move to be better black people. We can't make other people do better, but we can do better. We can wake up every day and choose to be great. All right. And with that being said, I love you all, and I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Peace out.